All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about a fight that looks like it is going to be made, and that is between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith one-time Thurman, and we have the rise of the Keith Thurman fans. Experts, boxing expert that I spoke to, actually saying that Errol Spence Jr. will have the hardest fight of his career against Keith Thurman, and would not be surprised if there was an upset. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, talking about a fight that we've not really thought about in earnest for several years. But now that the WBC has ordered it, Errol Spence Jr. versus Keith Thurman, the fight that we all been waiting for and the fight that we all need. Now that Terrence Crawford has scooted off over to Black BLK Prime to fight David Avicinian, Amnesia, all kind of names you got for the fight that wasn't nobody interested in. However, the WBC has ordered the Errol Spence Keith Thurman fight. And I actually spoke with a friend of mine that is a boxing expert and says, look, do not be surprised if there is an upset for a variety of reasons. Let's talk about that. But before I get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a new to the channel, please accept my invitation. Hit that subscribe button so that you can know when we drop more videos, which we do on the daily basis and in the live stream format as well. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, let me tell you very, very much. Thank you so much for your support. It really, really does mean a lot to the channel. And in this particular video, I definitely want to say, thank you to Tony T, who is a big Terrence Crawford fan, and I do believe also a big Devin Haney fan that gets on my chest a lot over in the comment sections. But I appreciate you for your support. Thank you for continuing to come by the channel and chop it up with me. Also, I want to thank everybody that supports in the super chat and the cash apps. They really do mean a lot. It is how the channel continues to go. That's just a fact. Also, for people that support in a super thanks, which you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of this video with a little heart with a $sign there, definitely goes towards supporting the channel so we can do this type of content on a daily basis. But let's get into this. Errol Spence Jr. was supposed to be fighting Keith Thurman, years ago. Errol Spence Jr. was supposed to fight Keith Thurman years ago. Unfortunately for us, Keith Thurman decided that he didn't want any smoke with the young up-and-coming fighter, Errol Spence Jr. And so Errol Spence Jr. went on about his business and over time collected not just the IBF belt that he had when he was originally trying to fight Keith Thurman, but also to get his hands on the two belts that Keith Thurman had at the time that Errol was trying to fight him. Now, once Errol Spence got these belts and Keith Thurman then started acting like he wanted the fight, right after he came back, he relinquished his WBC belt, never lost that in the ring, which I think is probably the justification, or at least the justification that they're using for allowing Keith Thurman to be the mandatory now, right? Because he voluntarily dropped that belt because he was injured, even though not a whole lot of people weren't giving him, any respect at all in regards to his injuries and just acting like he made it up, which he may or may not have done. What can I say? Who knows? But at the end of the day, he drops the WBC belt and then he's out for a while, loses the WBA belt to Manny Pacquiao, who loses it to Yordenis Ugas, who then loses it to Errol Spence Jr. So Errol Spence Jr. had all three belts, was trying to make a fight for the WBO, but Terrence Bud Crawford's ego and an offer from Black Prime, I believe, got in the way of that, so we're not able to get it. Now the WBC orders this fight to take place. So all around the mulberry bush we went, and here we are back to where we were except for now it is a mandatory fight instead of a unification fight. Most people are assuming that Errol Spence Jr. is going to run through Keith Thurman, and it will be a one-sided fight because Keith Thurman cannot handle body shots. Now, I spoke with a friend of mine, guy that I really do respect, his boxing knowledge. I do, and he comes with different angles a lot of times and how I see it. And in this particular instance, he pointed out a fact that I thought was very, very sound, which is Keith Thurman is still a very, very good fighter. Okay. And sometimes when you look at somebody and you just criticize him and he becomes a bit of a meme unto himself, Keith, once upon a time, Thurman, Keith, all of those type of names, or people turn one time into a whole bunch of jokes about Keith Thurman, right? Keith Thurman, does not look good against Jose Cito Lopez, loses to Manny Pacquiao, and comes back, beats Mario Barrios, but you just don't have the same impression of him as you had when he was an undefeated fighter that was wearing braids in his hair, knocking people out and all of that, right? The fear is gone. However, that does not mean that man is still not a very, very capable fighter that understands how to fight in the ring, and that his intelligence in that ring is something that will come into play when he fights Errol Spence Jr. So underestimating this man's ability and his desire to win and to get back on the championship stage and have an opportunity to get what he had back, that can really reignite a hunger in somebody that may not have had that hunger before. Like one thing that Sean Porter said when he talked about the Errol Spence Keith Thurman fight was that, look, man, Keith Thurman is going to have to go old school in order to win this fight. He's got to go back into doing the things that he was doing when he originally when he was, 23, 24 years old, looking to come up. And if he can regain that mentality and that hunger and that approach, he's going to have a lot better chance at it. Right, have a lot better chance at it. But what my friend brought up, and I thought that this was very interesting, is, well, what about Errol Spence Jr. and Errol Spence Jr.'s the mental letdown that Errol Spence Jr. could experience because he's not fighting Terrence Crawford, right? And because he is put in a situation where he's fighting someone that he does not want to fight. So where he may have, like with Terrence Crawford, he was completely focused on that. He has a setback. Will he be able to readjust his mentality and get his mentality focused on being able to handle what Keith Thurman is bringing in there? So you very well may have a situation where you're ripe for an upset, right? Now, do I believe that? I don't know. I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a chance for an upset. There definitely is. But I'm just not one of somebody that is going to underestimate Keith Thurman and say to myself, look, man, this guy's just some walk in the park because I saw him get hit with a body shot and get hurt, because I have. I've seen him get hurt by Jose Cito Lopez with a body shot. I saw Manny Pacquiao absolutely crank one up on him from the southpaw stance that really looked like it hurt him. However, at the end of the day, only one person has beaten Keith Thurman, and it was by the thinnest of margins, in my opinion. Jose Cito Lopez, he beat Jose Cito Lopez. He did not win against Manny Pacquiao, but in my opinion, I just think that I think it was a very, very close fight and very well could have had something to do with ring rust. But at the end of the day, we'll see. I do think that the biggest danger that there is Errol not being focused and not really, really, truly taking Keith Thurman seriously. Even though I don't think that he will lose focus, or Derrick James will allow him to lose focus, or he won't have the hunger and the go get you mentality. But he's going to have to get a good amount of disdain going for Keith Thurman, and that may come up in the press conferences. But whatever the case is, if they make the fight, because I do also have to say if they make the fight, but I'm pretty sure that they will, because I doubt Errol's going to drop the belt not to have that fight, especially since he said he was going to circle the block to go get Terrence Crawford. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.